Hey, what's up? I'm not sure who's going to be watching this. Probably my brother. Might be about it. But I haven't brewed for a while. I was thinking of trying to make a Surly Darkness clone. A Russian Imperial Stout. Pretty big beer. Um, yeah, so let's see here. I had a recipe from a old coworker. So thank you, Jason. It is a really big beer, so I was concerned about fitting the grain into my mash tun. So I actually wrote out the recipe 3 times, even though I did it in Excel as well. I don't know, I'm kind of nerdy, but I'm going through this middle column. If you look, these are the ingredients, and these are the weights in pounds for the most part. So yeah, it's a lot of grain. This is one of the bags. This is the process. I wrote that out as well. One thing that was kind of fun last night, instead of buying Belgian candy sugar, I decided to try making some. I'm starting off by making a gallon yeast starter. This is a gallon of water and 13.5 ounces of light dry malt extract. Once it cools, I'm going to be pitching White Labs 007 English dry yeast onto that. And then tomorrow I'll actually be doing the mashing and brewing. You see down here the hops and addition times. Primary fermentation for about a week to 14 days, and then secondary for maybe a month or 2. And I'm gonna put them on some oak cubes soaked in bourbon to give it maybe the barrel aged flavor. We'll see. Anyway, I thought it'd be funny to pretend like I'm a big YouTube star. So I'll say, smash that subscribe button. Or here. I don't do it enough to know where it is. What other notes do I have? Yeah, I'm not going to use my nicer camera because it's more of a pain transferring the data. So I'm just going to use my cell phone. And we'll see if I actually make this into a video or not. Oh, and the other thing is I might try. So Surly makes something called Damien. So I'm only collecting the first runnings to make this beer, and it's like, 25 pounds of fermentables. But I am going to try maybe running about 3 gallons of water through the grain bed after I've collected the main wort, and I'm going to try to make a small beer from it. So it's kind of a big chunk of work to chew off since I haven't brewed beer for a while. I've mostly been making mead, but you might as well, right? I did the math, and making 3.5 gallons of Surly Darkness, it costs about the same price as buying these 2 bottles, and it makes about 17 of those bottles. So the trick is to actually make something that's drinkable, though. So we'll see what happens. I'll talk to you guys later. All right, we're gonna mix in the grain. This is bag 1 of 2. Oops. The kids got interested, right, Greta?
Right, Greta?
You're like, what's Daddy doing?
Another one.
Another bag. This one has more in it.
It does?
Mm-hmm. So it's gonna be close to 24 pounds.
I thought we lost it so you told him
What?
I thought we lost it so you told him
Oh, thanks. Alright, it fits. I was worried. I got plenty of room. Okay, so I'm stirring it in. Trying to make sure there aren't any dry spots. And we'll say convert. Convert starches. Now we have to let it sit for an hour, and we have to let the starches convert into sugars.
get the sugar out the pail.
No, we do need to get the sugar out of there. We drained the liquid off. Good job, Greta. Are you my little brewer? Or is Jonah?
Me.
Oh, what do you think about that, Jonah?
How long do you have to mix it?
I just want to make sure it's thoroughly mixed.
500 days.
500 days. Okay. This might be hard to tell, but this is what it looks like after about an hour. It smells nice. I did actually pull off about a gallon, and I had a gallon of water to add. I'm heating that up right now. I'm going to do a little mash out. So it's similar to pulling water off the mash to heat the mash up or whatever. It's similar to decoction mashing, like the old Germans used to do when they had a little less efficient grain. They would start it off at like 140 or something, and then pull off a few gallons and warm that up, and bring it to 150 and pull off a few gallons and warm that up, and then mash out. Which I have done once, and it didn't seem worth it. So the only reason I'm doing it now is because of the volume restrictions of my mash tun in trying to get the temperature up to 168 for the mash out. So anyway, I'm going to do that now. Add the hot water in. See how this goes, considering I lost my filming buddy. So I'm doing this with one hand. This is going to hopefully bring the temp up close to mash out temps. Alright, it's been 15 minutes. I'm going to open this baby up. Oh, it smells good. I'm going to now slowly drain this out of here into there. See how much I collect. You start off, at least I do, by doing something called vorlofing or vorlof. I don't know if it's a noun or a verb, but you take a small amount of the runnings, let it come out slowly, and then that supposedly helps the grain bed settle a little bit so that it lauters more easily. See, the grain bed is more grainy because a lot of the liquid's out here now. It's filling up. I have a brew stick with notches along the way. So far I've gotten about 3 gallons out of here. I think my goal is about 5.5 gallons to collect, which will boil down to about 4. I don't know, because I'm doing a 90-minute boil. So, all right. What I'm doing next then is I have 2.5 gallons of water. That's, I don't know, at a certain temperature. I'm gonna pour that into the grain bed. Stir it around, let it sit for a little bit, and then I'm going to collect those runnings into that bucket. Normally when you're brewing, you collect your first and second runnings together, and then boil that down to make your beer. But since I'm going for a really high gravity initial beer, I am brewing the first runnings on their own, and then brewing their second runnings on their own. Surly does this, and they have Darkness is obviously the first runnings, and then they make Damien, Son of Darkness. So mine will be similar to that, but I'm not using the same hop profile, so I'm not going to say I'm making a Damien clone as well. Maybe it's I don't know, Rosemary. I'm going to get the 5 gallons boiling now. I'm adding first wort hops. That's 0.8 ounces of Simcoe and 0.8 of Amarillo. It's a 90-minute boil. At 60 minutes, I add an ounce of Columbus, and then at flame out or whirlpool, I add about a half ounce of Simcoe and Amarillo as well. And when there's about 10 minutes left, I'll throw in my homemade Belgian candy sugar, or Wisconsin candy sugar. I don't know what you want to call it. Yeah, it's hard to tell. This is about a little under a pound, so yum. Okay, wrong way. That's me. Anyway, so here's, I really don't want it to boil over. What happens is you get the, I can't remember if it's called the protein break, hot break. It has a chance as it gets near boiling to completely go over, which I have done before. It's not fun. Anyway, super nice day over Thanksgiving. I'm sure the hunters don't like it, but the brewers do. Not the team, me. Brewers are back, and also the chickens are out. Hey, don't touch that, remember? Yep, I know. It's at about 1070. That was what the initial, the first runnings were at, and then I'll figure out what it is after the 90-minute boil. Should be higher. But I tend to be an inefficient brewer, so. Oh yeah, I forgot. I still have a pound of candy sugar to throw in there. But yeah, we'll see where we end up. Now I've got Jonah at work shoveling the spent grains and tossing them to the chickens. They like it. Pretty nice that you can be in a t-shirt over Thanksgiving break, huh, buddy?
Yeah.
About 15 minutes left in the boil. Time to add my janky homemade wort chiller. Candy sugar. Now, I made about 2 pounds of this stuff. It's $10 a pound at Northern Brewer, and it's very cheap to make yourself. Just takes a lot of time. But for the other stuff, I added some powdered sugar to it, is what they recommended, so everything can stick together. However, for this one I did not, and everything stuck together. So I'll let it dissolve in there. Only burn myself a little there, that's okay. I try to look up what darkness is. I think it's like 1.124 or something, which is super high. I think I'll get maybe 1.1. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if you'll be able to see here. It's at about 1.100. I'm collecting 2.5 gallons, which is what I thought off of for the small beer. And so I'm gonna do a 45-minute boil with 0.35, not 3.5 ounces of German Magnum, and then at flame out I'll add 0.6 ounce of Kent Golding and 0.3 of Simcoe. I'm gonna add in 3 ounces of Belgian or Wisconsin candy sugar. This should give me, I'm guessing it'll be about a 1055, 1060 beer, and about 40 to 50 IBUs. So, I don't know, balanced. Ferment away, little buddy. That'll ferment for about a week, 10 days. I'll move it to secondary for another 10 to 14 days, and then that one will be ready to bottle. So that'll be done way faster than the Imperial Stout clone, obviously. Alright, this is about, I don't know, 12 hours after pitching, so up here. Give it a nice stir. And that's the second runnings beer. I feel like this top isn't very sealed because you shake it and nothing happens here. But that's okay. Alright, the darkness clone has been sitting in secondary now for a couple weeks. I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but I have the, probably not, the oak chips that I soaked in bourbon are mingling with the beer at this point. It's at about 63 degrees. I forgot to film it, but I did bottle the second runnings, the Not Damien small beer. I'm actually going to do a testing of that now. It is carbonated and ready to try. Alright, here it is. I don't know if you'll be able to read that. I wrote second stout, second runnings on the bottle. Let's give it a crack. First we'll listen to see if it actually carbonated. Sounds like it. Carbonating has sometimes been an issue with the bottle conditioning. This one's got a little bit going on. It's hard to tell, I guess, with the New Belgium glass. But it looks like the nice color. I'll try to hold it up here, but it's tricky. Pretty black. It smells stouty. Alright, and I'm not like a master taster or anything. So you get like I can smell like coffee and chocolate. Someone better than me would probably be able to smell like rum and stone fruits and stuff like that, but I mostly smell like chocolate. So here we go. Yeah, it tastes pretty balanced, so that's good, because I was guessing with the hops. And the nice thing is this is just a bonus beer. The main one is still in secondary, so this is just second fiddle, and by throwing an extra few gallons of water through the grains I got an extra beer, so that is, yeah, it's good. You get like the rum and raisins and stone fruits. You get a little bit of a dark roasted coffee bitterness to it. So I know it has the black malt in it, which gives it, so it has that bitterness from like not hop bitterness but coffee bitterness. So I'm curious how that'll play out in the darkness clone, because that one obviously has way more malt and sweetness to offset it. This one's a little bit thinner, and I wonder if, because I did add some Belgian or Wisconsin candy sugar to this one, I wonder if that made the beer, usually when you add sugars it makes it a little thinner, so it's just alcohol without sugar. It's more of a pure sugar that ferments out without leaving residual stuff. I don't know. I'm not a brewing chemist, but I think you get what I mean. It still tastes good, and I bottled about 18 of them, I think, just from, like I said, you throwing an extra gallon or 2 gallons, I can't remember what I did, onto the grains that I had collected the first runnings from. So bonus beer, tastes good. Like I said, a little bit bitter from the roasted malt bitterness, but that seems to work well in the festive Christmas season that we're in. It's almost Christmas. I made this beer around Thanksgiving, and as you can tell, we are in a winter wonderland. Outside, any birds? I don't know. There's the neighbor's farm. So yeah, pretty nice. I haven't brewed for a while, and it's nice that it's turning out. There's my disc golf that I practice on. Practice putting. But yeah, a nice beer. And I'm excited to try the darkness once I bottle it. And I'll film that as well. Hopefully I remember to do that.